Getting a quilt to finish up at the long arm and be square can sometimes be challenging, and it is a process that is cumulative as you're working your way down the quilt. A few weeks back, I did a workshop that I called Flat and Square, which was an hour jam-packed with all my best tips for creating and keeping a quilt square. Because the truth is that sometimes even when you begin with it square, if you don't address tiny differences as they arise, it can run amok in a hurry. Well, that workshop is past, but consider this your 2-minute little tiny snapshot of one of the tips that's in it because I've got a quilt loaded that illustrates it so well. When I advance my quilted portion onto my rail, which you can just see here, and I have the new area that I'm going to quilt exposed. Now I've quilted most of this already today, but when I have that new area exposed, I take stock before I start quilting. And simply, I get some visual cues from the piecing in my quilt. Many quilts, even most, have seam lines that you can use as a guide. So I will literally walk to the end of my quilt, look along the long arm rail, and just assess. Are the seams running straight? Is the spacing here from seam to roller the same as here from seam to roller? And I'm not measuring this, I'm just looking. Are there any curves or wobbles in it? And if so, I make adjustments, I get everything straight, I double check again, and those visual cues help me get everything straight on this front edge before I start quilting. Then it's important that you secure this edge. I like to use magnetic bars. They're just from a hardware store, but you could also use C-clamps. You could even run a row of pins or a line of basting stitch, but in some way, secure this straight edge. And now when you do all your quilting, nothing will shift. When you're done quilting, rinse and repeat. Roll the quilt up and start with the next area. If you do these things, that cumulative effort to keep things straight and square will really pay off in the long run. If you don't do these things, because fabric has give, you're apt to get off by 1/8 of an inch here or 1/4 of an inch there, and then you're likely to have a frown or a smile when you get to the bottom of your quilt, neither of which is a really great look. So hope that's been helpful. If you do want to watch the workshop, the replay is available for purchase. Just comment flat and we'll send you out the link for that.